Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a Q&A on all things therapy. I have been pretty open with my therapy experience. I've been in and out of like therapy and counselling since I was probably 17, 18, so I feel like I'm well versed in the world of therapy. I've been going to therapy now for 8 months. This is the longest I've ever been in therapy. I go every single week and I genuinely love it and look forward to it, which is so weird for me because I used to dread it. So I asked you to ask me some questions on Instagram about therapy because I get a lot of messages about like therapy and like my experience. So the reason why I started therapy back in April was because I'd gone through a breakup and I had just been struggling with like different things from the fallout of that breakup, like self-worth, confidence, just different things I feel like I needed to talk about. I signed up to BetterHelp, that's what I use, and I have been using it and I love it and I think it's a great service. It's not for everyone obviously because some people prefer in-person therapy, but for me I love it. I paid for 4 weeks and I really didn't think that I was going to be still going every week 8 months later, and I have no intention of stopping because I just feel like I am learning so much about myself. I'm pretty sure there's different payment plans with BetterHelp. The one that I have been using is you pay every 4 weeks and it is €200, so it works out obviously €50 per session. If you want to go to therapy like in person or whatever, see if you can get referred on to someone. I've also used Jigsaw in the past and I've used like on-campus counsellors in college. I'm pretty sure in NUIG, which is where I was, you got 6 weeks and then you could extend it if you really needed it. I'm just going to talk about BetterHelp because that's where my most positive experience has come from. With BetterHelp, you sign up and you have to answer, you know, the usual like little questionnaire where you kind of want to focus on if you want like a religious, a spiritual, if you want a male, a female, if you don't care, if you want a therapist that's LGBTQ+. There's loads of different options, so you fill that all out, but you can put in body image issues, depression, anxiety, like basically anything, and then they can match you with a specialized therapist. So when you're matched up with your therapist, you get all their information, how many years experience they have, their like credentials, is that the word? Like their kind of education, I guess. You can read reviews, they tell you a bit about themselves, like how they work, blah blah blah. You can book your session with them. With sessions you can do text, voice call or video call, and I always do video just because I like to see my therapist. The sessions range from I think half an hour to 45-50 minutes depending on what the therapist offers. Mine normally last between 45 to an hour. They have their own app, you go on, you book your session and then you're booked in, and you can message your therapist at any time, like it's like instant messaging. Maybe I'll just put up like a little screen. No, I won't because I don't want you to see my messages with my therapist. But you can basically text them at any time. You can mark it as urgent if you're like in a crisis. I think most of them are American, so there's obviously a time difference, but for me I've never noticed the time difference really because my sessions, I normally do them in the evening, which is the morning for them. Normally I do my sessions between 4 and 7 p.m. so like it doesn't make a difference to me. I do them in my bedroom. I know someone asked me that before, like do I feel comfortable speaking to a therapist in my family home? It makes no difference to me. I just let my family know I'm in therapy right now, so don't be coming into my room, don't come near my room. Oh, also with BetterHelp, if you aren't like feeling your therapist, because it takes a long time to find a therapist that's right for you. If you have your first session and you're not happy with your therapist or you just don't feel like you're going to vibe well, then you can choose a new therapist, you can read their reviews, and you can just change your therapist. It's pretty straightforward. This isn't an ad, by the way. I just really think BetterHelp is such a great service. Sometimes I think I'd like to start therapy, but I'm not like severely mentally ill. I have issues I'd like to talk to, but I think I'd feel guilty because I'm not super depressed or have anxiety. Do you have any thoughts on what I should do? I genuinely think that everyone should be in therapy, like, because everybody has things that they can work on and everybody has things that they can improve on. When I first started therapy, there wasn't really anything wrong with me. I was just struggling slightly with kind of like self-worth and like my like breakup. Now, 8 months on, I've worked through so much other stuff and I've realized I have a lot more stuff that I haven't dealt with, and I feel like if you start therapy you will find things that are issues maybe in your life that you didn't realize, that you weren't aware of, that if you can work through them your life will improve in other ways. Like for me, we know the vulnerability thing, trust issues, all that. I really didn't know that that was like an issue in my life, but now I'm like, oh my god, like I can't believe that I just was like blissfully unaware that like I wasn't opening up to people. Like that's not, you know, I don't want to be like that. So I think everyone should be in therapy, honestly, like whether you're struggling or not, because like we all struggle at times. I know the things that I've learned in therapy now are going to benefit me for the rest of my life. So I think if you want to go to therapy, if you want to talk to somebody, then do it. Okay, so a lot of people asked, is it expensive? I said it's like €200 a month, which I'm pretty sure works out. They have like the kind of pricing and all that kind of stuff on BetterHelp, but for me, I really don't think it's expensive, like, because it's like an investment in yourself. €200 for a month, like you would spend that on clothes, you'd spend that on going out. Like I think €200 is just like nothing when you're actually working on yourself, you know. So I think it's definitely worth it, but obviously like it's not going to be for everybody. I'm very lucky that I can afford that, but there is different payment plans. I've actually shared my referral link a few times, so I'll leave that in the description. If you sign up with that referral link, you'll get a free week and I'll get a free week, so you'll get 5 weeks for the price of 4 weeks. And obviously if you can't afford BetterHelp, like there's other ways around it. Like there's Jigsaw, which I think cater to 12 to 25-year-olds, I'm pretty sure. Also, I have used the campus counselors in college. The waiting lists are a mile long. I remember I got referred on to one when I was really struggling in the past, and the waiting list was going to be 7 months. So, you know, you wouldn't want to be in a crisis, to be honest. If you're struggling and you can't afford it, Jigsaw, campus counselors and Samaritans. If you can't afford it, BetterHelp is a great option, or you can go private, referred on to someone. I'm not sure how that works. You would have to talk to maybe like your doctor or something, but like I said, I didn't really go down that route because I was like, 7-8 months is too long. I need someone right now. A lot of people have asked, how did I find the right therapist? Before BetterHelp, I had been using like different resources like Jigsaw and campus counselors and things like that. I didn't really know what I needed help with, and I also didn't really know like what was going to work for me. So I guess like it was really hard for me to kind of find someone that worked with me really well. Now I think that you should give a therapist a good chance, because for me, I'm not someone who opens up very easily. So if I had just said, oh, she's shit, like straight away, without giving her a chance to actually get to know me, because you need to get to know each other, you need to build up a relationship of trust. Like if I had to just turn around and be like, she's shit, then, you know, I wouldn't have actually developed this amazing relationship that I have with her. If you're thinking about starting therapy, I would recommend like figuring out what exactly you feel like you need help with, instead of just kind of going in blind and like hoping for the best. Try to narrow it down into kind of like a section. Like I knew mine for me was relationships. Yours might be like confidence, family issues, you know, whatever. So then you can find a therapist that's like specializes in that kind of stuff, because like a therapist who specializes in like body image isn't going to be able to help you with like your relationship trauma, you know. They might be able to help to a certain extent, but you won't get the same benefits. So just try to kind of figure out what exactly it is that you want help with. The lighting has changed, I'm so sorry. Another thing that I really like about my therapist is that she's very like to the point. Like, she's not trying to kind of make me feel good, she's trying to help me. Like, that's her goal, is to help me. It's not to make me feel better, it's to help me. And she really pushes me, building up trust first, like giving them a chance, and if it's not right, move on as soon as possible, as soon as you can. Being aware of how they work and kind of like their approach is really helpful. Finding someone who's specializing in what you need help with is the main one. Another thing I would say is, like, sometimes it's not even the wrong therapist, it's our own mindset, because I know from my past experiences in therapy, I just didn't put it in the work. Like, they would say, oh, go home and like journal this, or like think about this, process this, and I would just be like, yeah, will do, and then I just didn't think about therapy again until the next week, which you're obviously not going to get the benefit from it if you're just not putting in the work. So when I signed up to BetterHelp, I was like, right, I am going for this hell for leather. I'm gonna put in the most work ever with therapy. My therapist was like sending me videos. She sent me like things about forgiveness. Like, she can send me things, so I've done everything that she sent me. Everything she tells me to do, I do, because I'm like, this is for me. Like, she's not, like, it doesn't make a difference to her whether I improve my life or not. It doesn't make a difference to anybody else but me. I don't know if that even helps. I'm basically just saying, like, give them a chance, but like, if it's not right, then move on. But I don't know how you find a right therapist. It's like anything, you know, you don't set out to find a good friend or like a boyfriend. You have to try out people, you know? So it's really trial and error. I really wanted to talk about this because it's quite interesting. So somebody asked, do you feel better than when you started? I feel like I understand myself now, but still really struggle. I actually feel sometimes worse than when I started. Which is, you know, like the opposite of what I've basically been saying. I'm like, go to therapy, but like, you might feel worse for a while. But I feel like, you know, it gets worse before it gets better. I feel like right now I'm not really in a good place, but I'm in therapy, so I'm still like working towards being better. I don't feel terrible. I just feel kind of like, it's hard to explain. I have like struggled with things in the past and been unaware and just been like, you know, trudging along, kind of like unaware of what's going on, but kind of not feeling great, but kind of ignoring it, pushing it down, and just kind of like living my life. Deep down, I know that I was like really struggling, and deep down I know I was not happy with my life, and I wasn't happy with myself, and I wasn't happy with like the relationships in my life. But now I'm in therapy, and like that's all coming up. Like, that's all coming up for the first time basically in my life. So it's really hard to deal with, but I'm working through it. Like, for the first time, I'm actually working through it. And of course you're gonna feel worse when you're working through it, because you're like, oh my god, all this shit that I just never dealt with, all this shit that I have to face now, and because I haven't dealt with it in the past, it's all piled up, and there's so much of it, and like, it's almost worse when you don't deal with it, because it's like affecting other parts of your life. I feel like over the years, all these little kind of things added up to make me trust nobody, not even myself. Whereas if I dealt with all these little things along the way, I probably wouldn't be in therapy right now. And it's the same thing with the vulnerability thing, and we talked about self-sabotage. Apparently I self-sabotage quite a lot, which I didn't know, but now, you know, realizing that, I'm like, freaking hell, like, why do I do that? And like, it nearly makes me feel bad. It makes me feel bad for past me, and makes me feel bad for like maybe the choices I've made and like the way I've treated people in the past, because I'm like, ugh, like that was me. Like, I did that because I wasn't dealing with things. Does that make sense? So I feel like I sometimes feel worse being in therapy, but I know that I feel worse because I'm facing things, and when I face things, I'm working through them, and when I work through them, I am opening myself up for better. So in short, I will be better by going to therapy. Anyone who's in therapy, I applaud you, because it's not easy. It is not easy. How do you know when you have a good therapist? Mine just listens, not much advice. It depends what you're looking for. At the end of the day, you're paying for it. It's your session. So if you want to like take control of it, you can. If you want your therapist to give you advice, you can tell her about a problem you're having, or tell her like, you know, you're struggling with like boundaries or trust or vulnerability or whatever, and you can say, have you any advice? It's pretty simple. With my therapist, we do a mix of both, and I actually like that. With therapy, I feel like a lot of it is you processing things and them just kind of helping you to process it and kind of like bringing it out a little bit. Like, it's not exactly for advice, it's more like you're there to figure things out. She can't tell you what to do, or he can't tell you what to do. That's not their job. Their job is to listen and to help you process things and to help bring the stuff up. She's just kind of there to help me figure out why I don't trust people, or why I have issues with setting boundaries, you know, and then I am the one who has to do the work. You want to get the most out of it, and if it's someone who's just not the right fit for you, then that's okay. You will find someone who's better suited to what you need help with. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's most of the questions answered, hopefully. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me or leave a comment. I'm more than happy to tell you anything that you want to know, and I hope this helped. If you're thinking about starting therapy, I would definitely recommend just even giving it a couple of weeks to try it out, and don't be nervous about it. Don't feel like, you know, your issues aren't bad enough. You deserve to work on yourself and better yourself, and if therapy is the way to do that, then I think you should just go for it. And like I said, I will leave my BetterHelp referral link in the description, and if you sign up using that, you'll get a free week and I'll get a free week. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.